This next one with the Jets here, they could have gone and gotten this guy. Instead, they didn't, and he ended up staying home. Lamar Jackson and his contract situation with Baltimore. Matt is on the end that he did not deserve the contract that he received, and Nate is on the end that he did. I will give this one to Nate first. Nate, tell me why Lamar Jackson did deserve the contract he got from the Baltimore Ravens.
Because he's been nothing short of excellent for the Ravens in his time there. Nothing short of it, statistically. Drafted in 2018, he's played 5 seasons as the starter. He has 12,209 yards, 101 passing touchdowns to 38 interceptions. That's a 2.7 touchdown interception ratio. It's great. Rushing yards, 4,437 rushing yards with 24 rushing TDs. Those are great numbers. And then you just have to look at what the Ravens do with him versus what they do without him. With the Ravens, with Lamar Jackson at starting quarterback, they are 49-21. It's the second best win percentage in NFL history for a quarterback. Ravens record without Lamar Jackson at the same time, 4-8. Not good. There's what else is out there for you to get if it's not Lamar Jackson? Answer, nothing. There were no free agent quarterbacks. I said Derek Carr. Okay, if you want Derek Carr with Lamar Jackson, you're stupid, and I don't believe you. You're lying. And then all you have to do is look around the rest of the league at the contracts that are going out there, and to say Lamar didn't deserve what he got is, in my opinion, wrong.
Yeah, I think, as far as contract, it's going to just keep going up every year.
Yes.
What is Mahomes is like 10th now,
yes. Which is ridiculous.
Right. So it's just going to keep going up every year. But so you said I don't think he deserved it. I wouldn't say I didn't think he deserved it. Everybody should still get their money, right?
More so, yeah. Obviously not like
should have gotten
money. Like obviously getting paid is great. Just the situation for Baltimore where they were in, the fully, most of it being guaranteed. Sort of they got pushed back into the corner and having to respond to Lamar. Not that he didn't earn a contract, obviously. Yeah. You're not saying that.
No,
but just more so on the end.
It was more like I probably wouldn't have given him
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
If you were the Ravens, you would not have paid Lamar.
I probably wouldn't have given him that.
Okay, why?
Well, first of all, nobody else wanted to give him that.
Which is why there was collusion going on.
Nobody else wanted to give him that. So why, I don't understand why they felt the need to do that. I don't know. Because it didn't seem like any other team was interested. $185 million guaranteed. Is that the most in the NFL?
Deshaun Watson's $250.
Oh, that's right. He got fully. Okay. So
besides Deshaun, because his contract in the future,
insane.
Most likely in NFL history, will be looked at as an outlier that is odd. The Jalen Hurts contract happened, and then Lamar happened almost immediately afterwards.
Yep. Did he get more? I'm trying to remember.
I want to say he got like $1 million more.
He gets $1 million more a year than Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, guaranteed. Okay. Yeah.
So.
Basically, he is the highest guaranteed because Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, if we don't count Deshaun, then it's Lamar.
So let's get this straight. He's obviously a good quarterback. I'm not saying that he's not. But ever since his MVP season, 39 touchdowns, 6 picks, great year. Probably rushed for a shit ton of yards too that year.
1,200.
Yeah. But ever since he has not been to that level. I don't think he's even been really close to that level since then. If you just look at the numbers, 2021 season, I don't know fully what went on there, but 16 touchdowns, 13 picks.
I believe that was
under
the season.
3,000, and he got hurt again that year too.
Yeah.
So
his
first 2 years as a full starter, because he came in
drafted in May of 2018, so his first
year. He came in
halfway
through the
year.
he
didn't start the full rookie
season. So his first 2 years he started, he played 15 games both times. Must have gotten hurt from one of those games.
I think they even sat him the last game of the season.
Yeah, so healthy those 2 games. Last 2 seasons only played 12 games. So combined with the injury prone and those numbers just not reaching where he was, I don't see him getting back that level, especially with his playing style. He runs the ball a ton. He's always running around, which I like, just speaking from a Bears fan, I don't want Fields to be doing that because that's going to take a toll on you. And I know you said, I watched one of your guys' videos before. I think you guys mentioned that he didn't get hurt during that instance. But
no, it was on quarterback dropbacks.
But if you're running around getting hit all the time, wouldn't you say you're more prone to get hurt if you're going to be running around taking hits?
Agreed.
So if you take away if you take away that element from him, I don't know how I just don't think he's a downfield elite passer like other quarterbacks are in the league. And I still am waiting for you to defend his playoff.
Oh, we're getting to this playoff.
Because they're not good.
We'll get into it.
He's 1-3 in the playoffs. 55% completion percentage. 3 touchdowns, 5 picks. Not very good. No, so he hasn't proven that he can win in the playoffs. He did win that one game in 2020, but he hasn't shown that he can. He's had 3 opportunities in the playoffs now, including his MVP season when he was going off that year. What happened in the playoffs? Why can't he perform in the playoffs? I don't know. Is that somebody you're going to give that much money to over 5 years? Because now they're stuck with him for 5 years. So he keeps declining like he has. He has declined since that year. I mean, what are they going to do? It's money. All that money is guaranteed 185. So
sure. So looking at NFL contracts around the league, would you not pay Justin Herbert then? I'm assuming if you won't pay Lamar, you won't pay Justin, right? Because Justin Herbert's 0-1 in the playoffs, hasn't won a playoff game ever, been there one time, right? And I think it's very easy to say that Justin Herbert's had better weapons his entire career than Lamar has had. Give me Keenan Allen and Mike Williams over whatever mess the Ravens have given Lamar to throw to outside of a tight end. I'll give you the tight end, sure. Mm. So then you can't pay Justin Herbert because he hasn't won in the playoffs.
How has Herbert's defense been for his teams?
I don't care. He does, that doesn't matter to me. They blew a 27-0 lead, and he scored 3 points the whole second half. That's bad against the Jaguars. Scored 3 points in the second half.
But if you put up that many points, you should still win the game.
But you also should score more than 3 points in a half when you put up 27 in the first half, right?
That was a collapse there.
An absolute collapse. In his first ever playoff game, so he's 0-1 in the playoffs. Before this run to the Super Bowl, Jalen Hurts was 0-2 in the playoffs after getting smacked by Tom Brady and the Bucs last season. He was 0-1 coming into this year. His 2 playoff wins this year, he combined for less than 300 passing yards. Jalen Hurts did. Less than 300 passing yards in wins because his defense and offensive line are just that good that they carried them to the Super Bowl. Yes, he played great in the Super Bowl. Played great in the Super Bowl. Lost. Played great in the Super Bowl. Fantastic. But they just gave Jalen Hurts all this money, right? Jalen Hurts just got $250 million. And he has been, in 2 years as a starter, his passing numbers have been bang on average. 10th in passing, 10th in passing yards, 14th in passing touchdowns this season, which was by far his best season. And he rushed for 760 rushing yards and 13 rushing touchdowns, which I think at least 3 or 4 of those touchdowns came from that cheese play where the offensive lineman literally shoved him forward into the end zone. So my question then is, was the Hurts contract a mistake? If you wouldn't pay Lamar, would you pay Jalen?
How has he been hurt at all?
Jalen Hurts is 25. He's only played 2 seasons as a starter. Lamar Jackson is 26, and he's played 5 as a starter. So
I don't think so how many years left did Lamar have on his rookie deal?
None.
It was right, and so Hurts is in the second year. He's gonna have 3 more years in his rookie deal.
No, Hurts was a second-round rookie. This upcoming season was his last season under contract.
Okay, so he has one more.
One more season, and then his extension was kicking in, or he would need to be extended.
Yeah, but you're okay.
They're about the same age. They're within 16 months of each other in age.
I mean, you can say he played back. I mean, he made it to the Super Bowl already. That he's ascending. He's an ascending player.
Sure.
He's playing better the past few years, whereas Lamar is playing worse the last few years. Just a fact.
See, I disagree. I don't think Lamar.
How do you disagree?
Okay, from his MVP, you're right. His MVP. Okay, but what were his numbers in 21 versus 22? You got those for me?
I should. So 21 versus 22.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he improved a little bit, but
okay.
It's not.
So he's no longer descending.
I mean, if you're going from his peak, shouldn't he be at that level like every year, like close to that level every year?
If you have a team around you to win, who was his number 1 wide receiver last year?
Couldn't tell you.
Exactly.
I don't know every player.
Okay, I'll tell you, it was Rashad Bateman who was hurt for a part of the year as well. Lamar has never had a number 1 wide receiver in his career.
What did Mahomes have last year?
Travis Kelce.
Okay, Mark Andrews.
You want to compare Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews?
I mean, that's number 2 though.
George Kittle's better than Travis Kelce.
No.
Yes, he is.
What?
Yes, George Kittle's better. George Kittle's better than Mark Andrews, not Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's the best.
I don't think so.
Okay, we'll look at stats.
I mean, he can't even stay on the field.
George Kittle?
Yeah.
What? He didn't miss a game last year.
Previously, I feel like he's missed a ton of games.
Not last year.
Maybe not last year, but before that, he'd always.
Either way, George Kittle was definitely the second best tight end last season. Mark Andrews has been solid, but he's not a number 1 wide receiver. Mahomes had Tyreek Hill all those years. This past
year he left, they won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, they won a Super Bowl before when they had him too. Yeah. But Lamar has never had a good weapon to throw it to. So now, let's talk about other quarterbacks and the contracts that they got. Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray got a 5-year, $230.5 million contract.
That's obviously a mistake.
Okay, but if that's the going rate for these quarterbacks, Kyler Murray in the playoffs, 0-1, got absolutely slammed out of the playoffs. Lamar has 17 more passing touchdowns, 3 fewer interceptions, 2 more game-winning drives, 2,000 more rushing yards than Kyler Murray, 1 more rushing touchdown, and 20 more wins as a quarterback. Kyler Murray has 300 more passing attempts and slightly more passing yards, 1,600 more passing yards. And they got about the same amount of money. They're within $30 million.
I compare that, though, because obviously if they could go back, they wouldn't give him that deal.
Why wouldn't they?
Because he's been terrible since they gave it to
Well, he
him.
was hurt last year, and their team sucked. Obviously, the Cardinals were terrible, third worst team in the league this past season. But if that's what the quarterbacks are, like, you have to pay them. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You have to pay them. Now let's look at Lamar and Deshaun. I know you don't like to talk about Deshaun because you wouldn't have given him that contract either. Who would you give a contract to?
Probably people. I mean, the ones in my top. I mean, if he's a top 5 QB, I'd give it to him.
But other than that, no, you're out. If you don't get the Super Bowl,
you're right. No, you're right. It's the going rate, but it's just, I don't know.
Like, would you rather look the Ravens fans in the face as the GM and say, "Sorry guys, I know that he has the second best winning percentage of all active quarterbacks in the NFL right now. I just don't feel like paying him. I just don't want to pay him because I'm not interested in paying him that much money. We'll see what we have in Tyler Huntley. Let's see what we have in Snoop."
Hey, he made the Pro Bowl.
That's a joke.
That was stupid.
That's such a joke. There's just, you have to pay him that, and he's earned it. He's earned that money. He's been a baller.
Everybody earns their money. I mean, that's what you got to pay a quarterback.
He has statistically earned that money. When you
regular season,
when you're 49 and 21,
I mean, he's won a ton of games. Yeah, he's won a ton of games.
49 and 21.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'll take that every single year, and then take the crapshoot of the playoffs every single time. If you get hot in the playoffs and do the thing, great.
But why can't he? Why hasn't he performed in the playoffs?
Because his teams aren't as good as the other teams. So
why is he winning a ton of games? So he
because
can't
the
be
regular
good teams.
season
He can't be good teams.
Okay, but we'd have to look at his record against good teams. But I'm saying the overall teams and the playoffs are different. They're a different beast than regular
top
season.
teams that you're going up against, whereas regular season you're playing some bum teams that you're going to get wins against.
Sure. So you would not have paid him that much money.
I mean,
what would you rather do if you're the Ravens? What would you do?
I actually read up that they were considering taking what's his name, Will Levis. I read about that they were going to consider doing that if they couldn't get a deal done with him. But I guess one big thing too with why they gave him money, like why didn't anybody else want to pay him then if he's an elite quarterback? So
because everyone had this in their mind that they had to pay him a guaranteed contract. And why would the Atlanta Falcons come out and say, "We don't want you" within 30 minutes of him being like a potentially free agent?
Good question. That's what I'm wondering.
All these teams, all these bad teams, why wouldn't the Jets want to talk to him when they had Zach Wilson?
That's what I'm asking you. Why?
Because they didn't want to pay him the guaranteed money that they thought he wanted. Because all these owners were like, "No, this isn't happening. Yeah. Sorry, Lamar, we're not paying guaranteed contracts. We don't even want to fucking talk to you." They didn't even pick up the phone and ask him. If they called him and said, "Hey, what do you want?" and talked to him, I bet your teams would have given him this deal.
I mean, how do you know they didn't talk to him though?
They came out within 30 minutes and said, "We're not even interested." Why would they do that? Because it was collusion between the NFL owners not wanting to pay him. They didn't want to give him a guaranteed contract like Deshaun wanted, and they all just believed, "Oh, that's what he wants. He wants a guaranteed like Deshaun," which wasn't true, clearly, because he took $80 million not guaranteed.
So you think if other teams knew that, they would have given him that deal?
Yes, I think he would have gotten a lot more calls. You're telling me right now the Falcons wouldn't be potentially considered NFC favorites, at least NFC South favorites for sure. Lamar Jackson would be the second best quarterback in the NFC right now. But top, with him and Jalen Hurts, you could argue.
Yeah.
Without a question. Why would you not want that? Why would you not want that when you have the cap space?
I don't know. None of them did though. There must have been some underlying issue.
Like what? What's the underlying issue? There isn't one.
Last 2 years he's been hurt. He didn't play in the playoffs last year because he was hurt. Could he have played that game?
Probably.
Why didn't he? Because
he's not getting his money.
No. What does that say to other teams then?
What does it say to other teams when your quarterback gives up on his team that he's played for 15 years? I didn't think that mattered. If Aaron Rodgers gives up on Green Bay and we don't care, why do we care if Lamar Jackson gave up on Baltimore last season?
I mean, has Rodgers sat out a playoff game before?
I don't know. I have to know that. But if Rodgers didn't try during the regular season like you claim.
I never said he didn't try.
You said he just didn't give a shit.
I don't think he did.
Okay, so then why you wouldn't try if you don't care?
I mean, he's gonna try obviously, but I meant like with the off season, he was just done with them altogether. Like he doesn't want to play. He didn't want to play for them.
But that was why he had a down season last year. You said that he had a bad season because he didn't care about the Packers anymore. So then he didn't try. He gave up on his team for a full season.
I think he gave up on management.
That's giving up on your team. He gave up on his team, is what you're saying.
Again,
but that's okay because it doesn't matter.
I think he gave up on his management, not his team. But
that's the same thing.
I mean, again, if we're gonna go back to Rodgers again,
we're not.
I said he had a down year, but it's not like he was fucking terrible.
No, right. But we can't use the argument that Lamar quit on his team because he didn't play in the playoffs when he had no guaranteed money in his hand at all. If Lamar goes out there and tears an ACL, sorry, Lamar, you're done. No money at all. You're done. But so we can't hold it against Lamar for protecting himself.
That's fair.
And not hold it against Aaron Rodgers for quitting on his team the whole season or his management the whole season and not caring. That's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah, I mean,
You have to pay. I think you absolutely had to give Lamar Jackson the contract that he got.
I mean, but they probably didn't have to pay him that much though because nobody else was interested.
But they did because he wasn't going to play then. He would just sit out.
Well, then he doesn't get paid at all.
Yeah, that'd be okay for him. I think he'd be fine.
Really?
With that. Yeah.
Plus, he's making a big deal about not getting paid, so he's going to sit out the whole season.
He had till week 10 to sign it. He could sign it at the 11th hour of week 10 and be like, yeah, sorry, I don't know the offensive coordinator's playbook. You guys probably shouldn't play me because we'll be bad.
Wait, what do you mean he had till week 10?
He could have taken until week 10 to sign his franchise tag.
Oh, the franchise tag. Yeah.
So he did not have to play a game until week 10 until he could sign his franchise tag, and then they'd have to pay him all that money. Yeah. And it'd be very easy to say, sorry, I haven't even studied the playbook, guys. I wouldn't play me. If you want to throw me out there, great. It's not going to look good. And then they don't play him, and then they're stuck with him. They had to pay him that much money because of what the going rate is for a quarterback right now. Joe Burrow is about to get a stupid amount of money, and so is Justin Herbert.
Yep.
Neither of them have won a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow has been to back-to-back AFC Championship games. This isn't about him. But
and he tore so he's only played these
2 seasons.
He's only played 2 full seasons.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And that's a little high expectation to say they haven't won a Super Bowl and they've only played 2 years.
Okay.
He's made a Super Bowl and he won the AFC Championship.
And Lamar's played 5 years and he hasn't won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay. The problem is that right now Patrick Mahomes is in this league and everything goes through him.
Yeah.
Like they've hosted 5 straight AFC Championship games. So you're just not going to pay your quarterbacks unless you have Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, quarterbacks, you're not getting any money because Patrick Mahomes plays and you're not going to beat him.
I guess my big argument is that they didn't need to pay him that much.
So you think he would have taken less than Kyler Murray?
If it was between that or not making anything, because nobody else was interested. Nobody was interested. So why?
You still have to pay him what he's worth though, because he's his own agent. So he knows what the contracts are. He knows what Kyler got. He knows what Deshaun got, and he's better than both of them. You have to pay him more than them, otherwise he's just not going to take it.
Well, I mean, I just don't understand why Baltimore did it because they're the only team that was willing to do it. Because they could have paid him less if they wanted to, and if he was going to sit out,
he could say no.
I don't think he would have sat out.
He was willing to.
That would be insane because then he would get no money.
Yeah.
Was he just going to sit out for
sit out the first 10 weeks of the season, sign his contract that they gave him, the franchise tag 1 year, and then sit on the bench for the rest of the season, and make his $36 million, and then be good. That's all he had to do.
Yeah.
He could have very easily done that.
I don't know.
We're talking about guys that make a bunch of money.